Welcome home to St. Anne's. We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.
This is one of those Sundays where I have all sorts of different things that I could preach on. Oh, let's see. We have Father's Day. That's always a fun little time for me to put my foot in it. There was yet another shooting, this time in Episcopal Church. So that's always a real thrill too. So lots of fun things. Oh, it's also Juneteenth, which is a really, really important holiday now that we're actually, celebrating it, because it took us a while to get around to celebrating the end of slavery. Oof. All right. But as always, we're gonna talk about the gospel and see what God has to say. Because here's the thing, I'm gonna explain it because I'm always gonna offend somebody. That's just kind of what I do. That's what the gospel does. Father's Day and Mother's Day are tricky times to preach. Okay, because many of us have great fathers. I had a fantastic father. I also work with a lot of kids who have worse than no father at all. And there's a wide spectrum. And let's be honest, even Jesus has a tricky relationship with family, right? When Mary and all the kids, and they're like, please stop doing this. You're embarrassing us, and you're going to get yourself killed. He's like, who is my real family? My real family isn't you. My family is these people. Okay, so can we just be honest that family is a tricky topic? It cannot be preached well. Even the Bible has really difficult times with what family and parents and siblings and all that good fun stuff has to say. In fact, did you know that blood is thicker than water does not mean what we think it means? It means that blood, your brotherhood, the people that you fight with, the people that you are with, that you spill blood for and with, are more your family than the water of the womb. That's what that actually means. When we say blood is thicker than water, that is a term that is of biblical times. The Greeks used it a lot. And that is that family is a chosen thing. It is something that happens to us. It has nothing to do with biology. So I'm not going to preach on Father's Day because it's tricky. And God struggles with it. And if God struggles with it, what do you think I'm going to have to say about it? All right? So we're going to do it. God bless and great thanks to those of us who have phenomenal parents, and let us be those parents for those who don't. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's talk about the gospel. Woo! That's a fun one, isn't it? To be honest, probably preaching about things that offend us is going to be way easier than preaching about things being possessed by demons, because y'all can you not talk about demons? Because that's weird. All right, but let's talk about it, because I think it's really, really important. Because I think what is important, I'm going to go over the fun story, because it's a fun story. Oh my gosh, if you do not enjoy this story, I don't even know how to help you. It's like the Bible is boring. No, it's not. If you say the Bible is boring, you have not read it. It's fantastic. It's colorful. It's wild. It should come wrapped in plastic. Kids shouldn't have access to it until a certain age, because it's just that great. Okay. So Jesus is going around doing his thing, being Jesus-y, and he comes to this town. And, every town has a weirdo. Because, it's true now, too. You've always got the weird ones, right? Every family has them. Every class has them. Every community has, every church has one. Yours is just your priest, but it's fine. Joke's on you. So they're wandering around, and we got this. I don't run around naked. But this man is so crazy that they cannot control him and contain him. And they're like, well, we don't even know what to do with this dude anymore. He's running around being crazy, and he's a local loon. And Jesus is like, well, that's awful. That's horrible. Because remember, when Jesus comes upon people, he loves them inherently. He sees them for who they are, and he loves them as they are and as they should be, as they truly should be. And he realized this is not who this man truly is. And he heals him. I mean, duh, right? wouldn't all of us, hopefully, when we come across something that we can do something about, would do it? Yeah. So Jesus does. And people get really mad. They get really, really mad. Not the man. He's pretty thankful. But the rest of the community is like, what did you just do? That's not okay. That's not okay. And it is scary to them, and they don't want him to heal people and take the local loon because they know the local loon. They got that figured out. They're used to it. They figured out how to manage this stuff. Boom. That's how you know God's talking. Not really. That's just whatever. They don't like it. And I'm going to tell you something. This is really, really important to hear, okay? Because this is part of brain biology, too. We seek homeostasis. Homeostasis being just chill. Everything's kind of neutral and baseline. It's known. It may not be good. In fact, usually homeostasis is not a good thing. But our brains will do that. Our brains seek that. That is our natural bent, to seek what is known and what is comfortable. Because I'm going to tell you something. Bad known is better than good unknown. Yeah, it's true. Your brain will do that. It's why it takes a woman an average of 7 times leaving an abusive relationship before she can actually get out. It's why kids will love an abusive parent, because that is what they know. And our brains will do this. You could have, and we all do this, right? Well, I could have been a great whatever had I ever learned. It's my favorite line of all time from Lady Catherine de Bourgh. Where are my Pride and Prejudice people? Lady Catherine de Bourgh, I should have been a true proficient had I ever learned. Love that line. Because it's so us, right? Because we have these dreams of things, right? But we don't actually do them. You want to know why we don't do them? Because homeostasis is more comfortable. Because the unknown is dangerous and scary, and we're not used to that. And so our brains will not take us there. As churches, we call it tradition. It's the people in the know, right? The old guard. And we come up with all these trappings of how wonderful and awesome it is, right? We build mausoleums and call them cathedrals. It's where we go to die and hide from God. Because God does not call us to homeostasis. God has never called us to homeostasis. You want proof? Like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we knew that the church needed to change. We knew that our model wasn't working. Literally, was it 5 years ago when we started streaming the service? Tech guy about 4? Okay. When we started doing that, I got feedback. Rude, unpositive feedback from churches, from the church. Because what are we doing? We're just giving the cow the milk for free. No, that's not how it works. You got to come to church. Yeah, you know what that reference is to, right? Yeah. I know things. And it's because, like, we have this thing, and we're really good at the thing. We know the thing. We've been doing the thing, and everyone else just got to get on board with the thing. And then Jesus comes in, and he tries to fix the thing, and we're like, oh, no, you got to go. There is no room for Jesus in this thing that we've got figured out. Get out. You're just like, fine, whatever. That is how we are. It's how we are as individuals. It's how we are as families. It's how we are as a church. It's how we are as a nation. It's just how we are. But I'm going to tell you something. God is not a static God. We do not follow a static God. We are not called to homeostasis. We as individuals are not called to homeostasis. Homeostasis has never changed the world because it's meant to beget itself. And someday we'll do a whole systems thing where I talk about systems. But systems are meant to recreate themselves. Systems, have you guys ever heard of systems? You kind of get what I'm referencing here? Okay, so systems are groups, usually of individuals. Churches are a system. Your family is a system. So systems are groups, right? But they have their own ethos, I guess. They have their own kind of being, right? And they exist to recreate themselves, right? It's why if you look at systems, even if you change out a person in a system, like you change out a family member, you're like, finally, Grandpa so-and-so died. Finally, we're going to be different. No, you're not. No, you're not, because your system's going to recreate itself. We do this in churches. We just got to get rid of that bad priest, and then we'll all be different. No, it won't. You're going to call a priest just like that one, and they're going to continue killing you. And we do it across the board, right? If I just get out of this bad relationship, it's this one. That's the problem. I'm just going to trade that one out. You will create that same relationship again. You will find the same toxic person again. All right? That's just how we are. Because the known bad is better than the unknown good. You don't believe me? Think about it. Think about your families. Do your systems recreate themselves? Think about your marriage, your relationships. Do they recreate themselves? Think about your churches. Do they recreate themselves? It feels like it's whack-a-mole, right? There's just like some crazy weirdo. It's whack-a-mole. We get rid of that mole and we're fine. No. You're going to get more moles. You just made another hole for another mole. Until you and I can realize that we follow a God that is not static. We are called to not be static. We are called to welcome the change, to follow God. Now, that does not mean that change is always a confetti explosion. Change is uncomfortable. That's why we don't like to do it. Your doctor says, okay, I need you to start working out. You're like, yeah, no. Because your muscles don't want to. It's exhausting, and it's painful, and it's awful. I don't know who these people are like. You get a runner's high. I've never had a runner's high in my life. I don't know who these crazy people are. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all are those people who are like, runner's high. No, it's miserable. You're not looking forward to it when you start. You stop, and you're like, dear God, I'm never doing that again. That's how exercise is, right? And that's how change is. Because we know how we are. We've got the local loon. We might be the local loon. We understand that. We've got that figured out. We ain't going to change it. But today I invite us to think differently. I invite us when Jesus shows up in our lives and invites us to change. Invites us to be different. To change the world around us. I invite us to think differently of that. I invite us to not show God the door. And that's scary. That is so scary. It's why we've built churches the way that we have, to keep God out. It's why we've built our relationships the way that we have, to keep God out. It's why we've created our careers. Everything in our lives is designed to keep God out, because God is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. You and I are not called to be static, but we really, really want to be, because it feels okay. And I'm going to tell you, Missouri thinks it's the state of show me. It isn't. It is the state of it's fine. Right? Like all our ancestors were like headed to Seattle and gold and all that fun stuff, and this is fine. This will do. Right? And you know you do it in your own life too, right? You're like, I mean, it's not great. It's not the best dinner I've ever made, but Applebee's is fine. I mean, you could go to the plaza and have like a really good steak, but you're like, Applebee's is fine. It's like right down the street, right? You think I'm making fun, but that is who we are as a people. We're a people of, it's fine. It's fine. It's not great, but it could be worse. It could be worse. We've learned how to deal with the local loon. It could be worse. We could not be dealing with the local loon. So I invite us to think differently. I invite us to think differently. When God calls us and says, it's time. It's time. Don't shrug out the door. Invite God in. And really don't invite him into a pig. Ew.
We want you to know that you're welcome to join us at 10 a.m. on Sundays. Please be sure to hit subscribe to receive our sermons. We can't wait to meet you.